So your input today, go ahead and write same as day number 1. It's the same as yesterday. What does that mean? That means you're going to, number 1, define the variables. Same as yesterday. That means you're going to, number 2, make a chart. You're going to, number 3, write an equation. You're going to, number 4, solve. And number 5, make sure you answer the appropriate or the right questions. Answer the question. Same as yesterday. Pencil up when you got that. Beautiful. Awesome. It's the same as yesterday. So let's model how to do that. Okay? Very simple, but of course, they're word problems, so you gotta do a little bit of writing, but we'll do 2. Okay? So, number 1, a chemist has one solution that is 40% acid. And another solution that is 80% acid. How many liters of each solution does the chemist need to make 300 liters of a solution that is 64% acid? So unlike yesterday, they're not giving us prices, they're giving us percentages. That's the only difference. So it's saying that this chemist has a bottle of acid that's 40% of the solution of acid. He has another one that's about 80%. What he wants to do is he wants to combine the solutions into 300 liters, but have it only be 64% acid. Okay? So going back, we need to define our variables. Okay? So let's call the acid, let's see, A. How about that? All right, so let's represent our acid as A. And let's see, the first liter of acid is 40% solution. So this is the 40% one. Now, how am I going to know how much is the 80% liter? Well, he wants a total of 300. So it's the total, 300 liters minus A. That's going to represent our 80% solution. So we have to find our variables. So now, like yesterday, we are going to make a chart. So I'm going to call over here percent. And draw a little line. And then I'm going to have my solution in the form of liters. I'm going to change my percent to a decimal. That was that anticipatory set. And then lastly, I'm going to figure out what my acid solution in liters will be. So percent, the solution, what it is as a decimal in percent, and then the acid. So I'm going to fill this in. My first percentage, let's do the 40% acid one. So let's put 40%. That's the first one we're going to do. If you look back at the question, right here it's 40% acid. Now we already said that we're going to represent that 40% as a variable A. So we're going to put variable A right here. Boom. That's where that goes. We just defined it up here. Now percent to decimal. I need to change my 40% to a decimal, so I do the Beyonce method. To the left, to the left. So percent as a decimal would be 0.40. I just moved the decimal twice to the left. It was 40%. To the left, 0.40. So then the same as yesterday, you're multiplying these two columns. So I would be left with 0.4. I don't need the 0, that's just a placeholder. So I have 0.48. Okay, now I'm going to do the 80%. We said that our solution represented as 80% was going to be 300 minus A. The total amount that he wants, 300 liters, minus that 40%. So my next column, if I look back at the problem, it says it was 80%. I need to change that 80% acid to a decimal. So I move it to the left, Beyonce, and I get 0.8 or 0.80 if you want to put the placeholder. So now again, I'm multiplying these. So it's going to be 0.8 times the quantity of 300 minus A. And the last thing I'm going to do is the solution that he wants, which he says is 64% acid. So that's what goes here, 64%. That's what he says he wants. And how many liters does he say he wants? He wants 300. That's right here in the problem, 300 liters. Change 64% to a decimal, 0.64. Move the decimal place over twice. Now you're going to multiply 300 times 0.64. I'll do it for you. It's 192. You just simply multiply and count the decimal places. You get 192. Now the same thing as yesterday. I'm going to take part A plus the second one equals the third one. So we're going to go ahead and set that up in a problem. So I have 0.4A plus 0.8 times the quantity of 300 minus A equals 192. So again, this is where I got the first one, plus the second one equals the third. All right, so I see that I need to distribute. So I'm going to distribute 0.8 times 300 and 0.8 times A. So I get 0.4A plus 0.8 times 300, I'll just do it for you, is 240. Bring down my minus sign. 0.8 times A is 0.8A equals 192. Now, oh my goodness, I see like terms. I see 0.4a and I see a negative 0.8a. So think of it as like 4 minus 8 to be a negative, right? So I have negative 0.4a plus 240 equals 192. 0.4a minus 0.8a is a negative 0.4a. And then same as you usually do, subtract 240 from both sides. Okay, my positive 240 and my negative 240 cancel each other out. So on the left side, I'm left with negative 0.4a equals, subtract 192 from 240. They are different signs. Subtract, keep the sign of the higher number, so I know it's going to be negative. So it's going to be a negative 48. I divide both sides by negative 0.4 to get a by itself. My negative 0.4's cancel. Negative 48 divided by negative 0.4, I'm going to get a equals 120. Now, yes, we know that the first one we only need 120 liters of that 40%. But we need to figure out what the other one is. So going back here, we found out what A was. A is 120 liters. So to find out what the 80% solution is, we need to do 300 minus A, which is going to be 300 minus 120. 300 minus 120 is 180. So our final answer is going to be, of the 40% liquid, we need 120 liters. And of the 80% liquid, we need 180 liters. When we do that, we will have a 64% bottle with 300 liters inside. So the only difference from yesterday is you're multiplying with decimals. That's it. Pencil up when you have that written down. Cool beans. We're flying, we're flying. Okay? Second one then, number 2. Same thing, a chemist has 10% acid solution. The chemist has 10% acid solution and 60% acid solution. So those are the two ones he has. He has a 10% one, and he has a 60% one. How many liters of each solution, how many liters of each solution does the chemist need to make 200 liters of a 50% acid solution? So I'm going to think to myself, this guy, this chemist, has a 10% acid solution. He has a 60% acid solution. He wants to combine them into 200 liters of 50% acid. So we need to define our variables first. We need to know what the 10% acid is going to represent. And we need to know what the 60% acid is going to represent. So let's call the acid A again. So A is the 10% solution. Now we need to take the total amount of liters that he needs minus that solution to get the 60%. So he says he wants a 200 liter solution. So if we do 200 liters minus how many liters we find A is, we'll get the second amount. So therefore, second step in our input, make a chart. So let's do it again, percent. And you want the solution in liters, which is what we're trying to figure out. You want the percent as a decimal. And lastly, we want how much acid in liters. So I'm going to think to myself, okay, the first one is the 10%. Then I'm going to have to find out the 60%. And at the end, he wants to know what a 50% solution would be like. So, 10% solution. Our solution that we used to represent it was the letter A. So A goes here. We need to change 10% to a decimal. Beyonce, to the left, 0.1. You can add the 0 if you want. It's a placeholder. And then we multiply across. A times 0.10 is 0.10A. 0.1A is up to you. The 0 is a little placeholder. For the 60% solution, we said that that's going to be the whole 200 liters minus the first solution that we have, A. So 200 minus A. You know we're going to multiply that by the percent to a decimal. To the left, 0.6. So that's going to be 0.6 times the quantity of 200 minus A. And the last one, the 50% solution. Again, he wants a total of 200 liters. 50% is 0.50. To the left, move it. You're going to multiply. And you're going to get 100. 200 times 0.50 is 100. All right, so we have our graph all set up. So now we need to be able to set up our algebraic problem. So we need, again, the first one, 0.10A plus the second one, 0.6 times the quantity of 200 minus A will equal the last column, 100. All right, so to distribute 0.6 by 200 and 0.6 by A, I'm going to get 0.10A plus 0.6 times 200, I'll do the math for you, is 120. Bring down my subtraction sign. 0.6 times A is 0.6A equals 100. I see like terms, 0.10A and negative 0.6A. So 0.10A minus 0.6A is going to give me a negative 0.5A plus 120 equals 100. All right, subtract 120 from both sides. My positive 120 and my negative 120 cancel. So I'm left with negative 0.5A equals 100 minus 120 is going to give me a negative 20. Divide by negative 0.5 on both sides. My negative 0.5's cancel. I'm left with A equals 40. So we know that solution A is 40 liters. But we need to find what that second solution is, which we say is 200 minus A. So 200 minus A is 200 minus 40, which will give me 160 liters. So, my answer, the 10% solution, I need 40 liters of that. And of the 60% solution, I need 160 liters to give me a total of 200 liters with a 50% acid solution. Go ahead and stop that, Alex.